Okay, and now for something completely different. Today we're gonna have a replay that was played on one of the new maps that GomTV has been trying to test, see if they can include them on the map pool of the GSL in the future. For now, these maps have been tested on the Guisado King of the Hill stream, and now are being tested on the GomTV team event that has been occurring as I speak. I think it's on the third day now. And well, I'm hoping for good things to come out of these maps because I've been following them on the GSL and as well on the stream from Guisado. I saw some of the top pro gamers from Korea playing there. I saw OGS The Wind and OGS MC, and boy, I'm really happy about the maps. It's always a breath of fresh air, as you might imagine, and having some of the top gamers from Korea saying that the maps are balanced and look really good, it's always good news. So they're now testing the maps, as you guys know, and this one is called GSL Crevasse. It's one of the maps that you eventually will be able to see soon enough on the GSL if any of the players choose to play here. And we're gonna have a face-off here between two players from Taiwan. One of them, very well known, Sen, is old BroodWar veteran. He's been staying in Korea to play there, the GSLs, and see if he improves and gets better results. I think he's been practicing with the guys from StarTale, if I'm not mistaken now. And he's gonna be facing against this light brew Protoss, whose name is OrzRush. And OrzRush is currently the #1 in the Taiwanese ladder. So pretty solid Protoss player, and is also a member of Clan Rush. If you guys don't know, Clan Rush is probably the #1 clan, the top clan from Taiwan. Some people might argue, obviously, and they have their favorites, but in my modest opinion, I think they're currently the #1. They have a lot of powerful players, and obviously they're just here trying to test the new maps with their #1 player. Hopefully this is going to be a cool matchup here, a cool face-off. For now, let me just show a little bit of the map so you can take a peek at it. I already saw some matches being played here, but I don't know much about the map. So let's follow it, and I'll try to reason things while I explain the map and show the map to you guys. Okay, so as you can see, first of all, your natural expo is going to end up to be this isolated one. As you can see, the only access is this ramp, and it's kind of well protected. The only thing that I might see here is just on this corner getting some blinks up there or something like that. The base itself, the main base, not that big, but it has this corner here which might be dangerous for some drops, as you might imagine. You need to be aware of what's going on there, or you might just be for a big surprise inside your base. Also, another thing I would like to mention is it's fairly accessible here, your natural expo, but then the rest of the bases are not that easy. As you can see, what is supposed to be your third base is covered with debris, and it is a bit further away from your main base, so not the easiest one to defend. Also, look at the size of the openings, the accesses to the base, so kinda hard to defend. Then you have another curious detail, which is you're gonna have several rich mineral fields. As you can see, you have 4 here. They're fairly small, and they're all protected with debris. As you can see, all covered with debris. There's access through the middle, as you can see. This probe is already here, and then they're all very wide open and hard to defend. So I'm not sure how this is going to influence the players on their matches here in the future, but apparently this map is easy 2-base play, and if you want to go further than 2-base, you might be in trouble. You might be needed to commit some extra forces to defend your extra bases. Another thing that I found interesting is the map apparently is fairly big. Let me try to follow the distance between both bases. As you can see, the spawning points are both on the same side, north and south, and it will be something like coming out of this ramp, straight ahead here, then up this ramp here, and all the way flanking up here, and you're going to be on your opponent's base. There it is, voila! And another detail that I would like to show you guys is that you have this little access, the little ramp from accessing your opponent's base, but there's the debris right on the side. And I can imagine some situations in the future where you're gonna actually have people destroying that debris, because I'm assuming that your opponent is gonna create his wall off based on the little gap that he has there, and if you just destroy the debris, he needs to get some buildings there really fast, or else he might be in trouble. The forces just gonna stream through the gap that you create. Still, interesting map. There's a lot of large ramps, as you guys can see. Easy to access here, the natural expo, it's easy to grab. The rest, not as easy, but I guess you're going to see a lot of moves and a lot of decisions on this map later on when we start seeing the big pro gamers facing each other on the GSL, and hopefully one day these maps might be included in the in the map pool for the ladder on a future patch, who knows, I can only dream, and would be cool. I would like to see that. Like I already mentioned, I think it's a breath of fresh air to have some new maps. The pro gamers will have to adapt to the new stuff, and we're all gonna enjoy some new sceneries. Okay, so now following the match a little bit, because I'm already blabbering about the map and all that stuff for a long time. As you can see, Sen just establishing his defenses here, 4 spine crawlers, and notice how they're placed in such a way that they're gonna hit everything that passes on that ramp. Also notice that Sen has map control at the moment. He grabbed the Xel'Naga watchtower closer to his opponent. There's 4 Xel'Naga watchtowers in the middle of the map, as you guys can see, so you can just dominate this area if you spread some Zerglings. Not sure if Sen is gonna do that, but apparently he will. Meanwhile, on his build, he went gateway into cybernetics core, and now playing out of 5 gateways with the Twilight Council already pumping and getting the Blink research. So I guess you're going to see plenty of Blink Stalkers. This map does have some ledges to be abused, as you might imagine, and I'm not sure how accustomed to this map is Orz, but he might be planning some Blink around and just harass his opponent. Meanwhile, Sen just sent the first couple of Zerglings to take a peek here, see what's on it, and he's just getting, ooh, interesting move, a Spire all the way further away from all the action, even taking his time to get the Overlord pooping some creep here, making sure that the Spire will be built and will be fine. So Mutalisk plays soon enough, while Sen prepares to grab his third base there. Also has a drone roaming around on the far edge of the map. I wonder if he's gonna try to grab another Expo here. Yes, he will. Okay, so third base for Sen, very far away from all the action, on another Expo from another spawning point, and he's already taking care of his 4th base, so pretty soon you're gonna have Sen entering macro mode, and he's just gonna go bonkers on production, and well, if Orz doesn't advance and do something about it, he might get himself into trouble. For now, as you could see, Lair Tech is up. Obviously the Spire is getting taken care of, and you saw the Hydralisk then as well. So Hydralisks, quite a good counter to most of the gateway units from Orz. Depending obviously on which way Orz is gonna go, he might reinforce his army with some Colossi, for example, which melt through Hydralisks with such an ease. Apparently, let's take a look at the army compositions for now. 45 Zerglings, 3 Hydralisks, Queens, and 14 Stalkers. So yeah, Orz is gonna go very Stalker heavy. I'm not sure if he's gonna reinforce it with something else, but attending to the fact that I see a Robotics there, he might be going for some Colossi play with the Blink Stalkers. Fairly powerful army, as you might imagine. It's not sure exactly how Sen is going to prepare to fend this one off. The Hydralisks will be able to deal a lot of damage to those Stalkers, but the Colossi are hard to deal with. Let's see which way Sen is going to head to. For now, getting upgrades. Notice how Orz is getting Hallucination and Extended Thermal Lance. Keep in mind that the good use for the Hallucination is to just send some units ahead of your army, or at least on the front line of your army, to divert the initial fire. Obviously they can be used for scouting purposes as well, but to divert the fire they're quite useful, and it's something that you don't see that often. For now, the Mutalisk wing from Sen flying around, trying to push away and kill as many probes as possible, and they're actually killing a lot. And now finally some Stalkers getting ported in, blinked right on top of those Mutalisks, and Sen is going to be forced to push back. But meanwhile, apparently Orz was preparing some kind of push, because he doesn't have much of a defense here. He had to port some units in, and I think he has quite a big army. For now, as you can see, 124 versus 98, so Sen still leading away on the army count. Unit composition, 18 Stalkers, 1 Colossi, 6 Zealots, and now I see a big red blob advancing there. So I think we're going to see an assault coming from Sen. He's going to try to push into this base. There's a lot of units getting ported inside the Orz's base, lots of Zerglings advancing, entering the base, and instantly getting pulled back. There wasn't enough forces, I would say. Sen needs to pull back and muster up his army once again. Meanwhile, on Orz's base, look at the amount of Stalkers that he has here. Still only a single Colossi, and he's actually not even producing that much at the moment. He just killed a Stalker there. And as you guys saw in the picture-in-picture window, Orz already knows about this base, so this might be spell trouble let's see, the Mutalisk, there they are, but this might spell trouble for Sen if Ors decides to just make an assault there. I'm pretty sure that base isn't very well protected. We're gonna take a look there. Another huge blink on top of the Mutalisk, killing several of them, and Sen getting forced to push back once again, while his Mutalisk wing is getting chipped away, grinded down, and eventually will just fade away. Yeah, he doesn't have much of a defense here. Spire still going just fine, with an Overlord taking care of it, just pooping some creep occasionally to keep it up and running. And meanwhile, econ-wise, let's take a look, because at the moment we're 4 bases against 2, and well, Sen is leading the way, not by that much, but a bit, and he is way ahead on the Harvester count. Now, unit composition, 27 Stalkers. Ors is going really strong on the Stalker play. He doesn't even have any kind of mix, it's just Stalkers with... what? Let me look. 1 Colossi for now, that's all that he has. Not sure how he's gonna handle, but I mean, Stalkers are good against this Mutalisk play from Sen, and the Colossi, if he can at least get that critical mass, like 4 or 5 Colossi, he will be able to rip through front lines from Sen with fairly easy. Incoming once again, the Mutalisk flying around, trying to harass and poke at the forces and the bases from Ors every time they have the chance to, like chipping away, grinding him down, making sure he's not gonna get into a point where he just has an unbearable force, just so much power, so many Stalkers or so many Colossi that Sen won't be able to handle it. Keep in mind that Sen has been taking care of the control on the Xel'Naga watchtowers, knowing when his opponent is going to leave its base, and because there's not much of an airplay here on Ors' side, I guess that he's going to be able to witness and realize the moment that his opponent is going to push, which apparently is going to be now. So I think it's going to be a time push based on this ground armor level. He's just waiting for it to finish. Meanwhile, another assault with a big Mutalisk wing on the Natural Expo from Ors. Ors not gonna pull back, he's actually just staying here. Let's follow the big clash in the middle of the map. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take the HP bars, there's way too many units here, but as you could see, he just lost the Nexus, destroyed the Nexus on the Natural Expo, so working out of single base, while the bulk of the forces from Ors push into Sen's bases. This is getting really messy, and meanwhile the Mutalisk intercepted the back of the line that Ors is making, advancing towards Sen's bases, and boy, there's so many units here. Let's see the army. Maxed out army for Sen, 200, 200, and 154 for Ors. Here he comes, just pushing, entering the base from Sen, blinking back those Stalkers, making sure he's not gonna lose them when they're weak, and meanwhile the Colossi just melting away, grinding down all of those Zerglings and Hydralisks. Incoming once again, a big mass of Stalkers advancing, shooting all of those static defenses, Spine Crawlers getting destroyed one by one. There's not much left from Sen's army, so I guess that much of his army count was workers, and now he's just struggling a lot. He's sending his workers down. As you guys can see there on the army count, is just going down for Sen fairly quickly, while for OrzRush he's still fairly stable, he's not losing that much. There's still plenty of static defenses around, and Sen pumping more and more units out of his bases, making sure he's going to have what it takes to handle this wave from Ors, but this feels like an unstoppable force, and Sen GG's out of the match. It was indeed an unstoppable force. Look at the upgrades, 1-1, with the Colossi backing it up, and it was just ripping through Sen's bases. Though, keep in mind that Ors only had 1 base, the Mutalisk finished off this one, and he had this robotics bay powered down, so he couldn't make any more Colossi. Still, Sen decides to GG out of the match. I think he would still stand a chance. I guess this is just test play, and he just have some test runs on the map, and decided to try again some other time, I guess. Still, Ors did very well, and he had the massive force here, as you guys can see. Let's see the armies, how it was at the moment. 33 Stalkers and 1 Colossus against 22 Zerglings. Yeah, so I guess that Sen didn't have much. He needed to produce more really quickly, or well, he would just get completely trampled. Well, okay, well, I hope you guys liked this one. GSL Crevasse, like I said, the name of the map. Pretty cool map in my modest opinion. Hopefully you're going to see more matches coming up on these new maps, and this one included. And we're going to learn more about the maps, because I'm still missing a lot of information as well, as you might imagine. So, I see you all later, okay? Have fun.